Welcome back to TEYARA SMP, a TNP Limitless 7 series, and we are outside the base because I've done a little bit of work on it since last time. Unfortunately, not enough to do what I wanted to do today, but we have some alternatives in store. Let's just talk about what I did end up getting done, and boom. That is to say, I've started work on the support structure / framework for the roofing of the main base building, I suppose. You know, the building over the mine shaft. I have some ideas in my head for the general roof shape. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that lightning has sort of an area of effect around the lightning rods, and so I've lost a little bit of my shape up here. I have since moved the lightning rod up there because lightning rods affect all blocks within 128 of them, and so between the one over here and the one way over there, that should theoretically help with the roof catching on fire, but we have started building out sort of a dome-like framework over here, and then we've got sort of, I mean, you could call it parabolic. I'm almost wanting to call it hyperbolic, but it's not quite that. Parabolic is probably more accurate. Anyway, the point is, we have this sort of arc in the roof that comes up here, and eventually the idea is that we're going to have, you know, just like some kind of a roof block. I don't know if it's going to be acacia or mangrove as the primary color, but something like that. And then we've got this inner support structure here, and then I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this open air or if I'm going to put in glass, but this is going to be at least permitting some natural light into the upper floor of whatever we build down here, or possibly if I leave the interior more open, then we could even have like sort of an inside courtyard type thing. I don't know, that's something that I'm gonna have to think about, but the idea is we're going to have our villagers on the first level, their actual living quarters maybe, and then on the second level we're gonna have storage, maybe depending upon what folks think in the feedback. Perhaps I switch those, maybe we have the villagers on top and their storage down below, but that's the general idea with what we want in this part. And then over here, we've got like sort of a miniature version of that roof, and what I haven't decided just yet is, am I going to just curve it around and leave the top flat, or am I also going to add sort of a dome shape up here as well? Then, you'll also notice that I've started putting in some of the bricks for the chimney. I am not entirely sure if I want to leave it just all nether brick, or if I want to, say, add in some ancient, archaic brick? Yeah, archaic brick from embers or any other kind of accent color, because this is a little bit monotone, and I think we could do something with that, but I am more or less liking the shaping that we've got going on. We've got these framed half stairs that really make this look like more of an open chamber than it actually is. We also kind of covered up the barrel just to make it look like a smaller input. We can still obviously access it, but we have all of our fuel, all of the stuff that we want to cook, all in one place. But we've covered up the main chimney bits. So when this is more chimney-like, hopefully it'll look better. I gotta stop going near the ladder because we have the mod that lets you move in the direction you're looking. And while that's good in general, it's really messing with me right now. But let's finally move on to the meat of today's episode, Netherite. And in fact, I have Netherite boots in my inventory. Now, the thing is, I don't know why I just closed that, but the thing is, we want to be able to make this Netherite ingot. And you can see that we have 6 Netherite scrap. You can also see that we have 5 ancient debris. And the problem is, we need 4 Netherite scrap per every 1 of these netherite ingots. If we just pull up the crafting recipe real quick, here's the default. And so, right now, we have a number that's not divisible by 4. We are at 11, because each ancient debris smelts up to 1 of these netherite scraps. And we need 12. And you're probably thinking, okay, well, why do you need 12? And the answer is, I actually need 4 of these. And the boots that I talked about partially factor into it. If we come over to here and click on salvaging recipe, we can salvage these netherite boots into 4 diamonds, which is the cost of diamond boots, plus 1 netherite ingot, which is the cost of, well, the boots. Like, you bring diamond boots plus netherite ingot to what is it, a tool forge, something like that, a vanilla tool forge, and you make netherite boots. That's how it usually works. I am still wearing my roller skates, pardon the movement, but we need to make a salvager in order to do that. And we have, as you can see, all of the items that we're going to need to be able to do this in my inventory. So let's go ahead and make one of these, but then you'll be thinking, wait a second, okay, so you need 12 ancient debris or netherite scrap, and we only have 11, plus the 1 ingot from the boot. Well, I hear you. Oh, I just realized I left my redstone in the storage. No, my reach is not that long. It is that long, however. So, let's go ahead, make ourselves a piston. I have that upside down. Boom. And make ourselves a salvaging thing. Oh, and I put my obsidian away too. This is what happens when I try to organize before episodes. I accidentally put away the things that I need to craft with, and that's kind of annoying. But we are back. Let us finally make the salvaging table. Click, click, boom. Yeah. And we made an advancement too. So now you can also see that we've got the grader. I think I've already talked about this, but this is another Silence Gems thing, the salvager. We put gear in and we get stuff out. So let's put in our gear, and I think this is just automatically going to salvage it. Boom! And we get our materials. We've got that sweet netherite ingot, and apparently this is the first one that I've ever had, because we just got new chapters in our bookie book. Let us see. Okay, so we got the thing in silent gear. You know what, let's go ahead and take those. And where are these extra chapters? Well, chalk that up to not being terribly observant. Let's go ahead and put away our diamonds in here, because we don't really need those right now. So, the next goal is for me to get one more of these ancient debris, and I'm reasonably sure, if I remember correctly, I think I do, that we can get more in the mining dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and the thing is, if this takes me longer than 30 minutes, I have a backup, and let me see if I can do this in third person real quick, but I do have a backup. I'd prefer not to have to use it, but we have a whole bunch of netherite, hold on. Here it is, yes. We have at least 2 pieces of netherite equipment from bosses that I've killed. And I don't want to have to use them, because I'm pretty sure that some of these things are, like, unique, or at the very least, these are enchantments that I can strip off first. And so, worst case scenario, if I don't find ancient debris in the mining dimension in like the next 30 minutes or an hour, for the sake of the episode, I will absolutely sacrifice the armor that has fewer enchantments than the other one, or less desirable ones, I should say. Alright, I will catch you after we've done that. Now, it's only been a couple of minutes since the start of my search, and we have found ancient debris, thankfully, but just look at my poor tool durability. I've gone through nearly 3 pixels worth of durability of varying degrees, but we've still found the ancient debris, and this will make what we want to do next a possibility. And let's just ignore that netherrack real quick. So, after I have had my dinner and am able to continue recording, we are going to get onto the next phase of this, which is to say, some mystical agriculture. And I realize that I haven't exactly gone over how that works or botany pots, so this is going to be sort of the tutorial in retrospect. Now, if I haven't mentioned it already in the series, the thing about mystical agriculture is that it enables you to grow a whole bunch of resources that you normally wouldn't be able to. And given that things like netherite are so time and durability consuming, even in something like a mining dimension where we have just an infinite expanse and no hazards to worry about, the rarity is still high. So being able to make it infinitely, especially just by making seeds of it, is sort of instrumental to our progress in various mods, because we're going to need a whole lot more netherite than I think I'm going to need. At least, that's the theory. So let's talk about how we make these seeds. You need one of these, an infuser, altar, and pedestals, and then we lay out all of our stuff in this general formation with some prosperity seeds as the base. We already have some of these, but it's just regular wheat seeds and 4 prosperity shards, which you can get from mining. Now, let's go ahead and make some of our netherite, which I need to look up the recipe for. Boom. And we now have the 4 ingots that we need. And beyond that, you can also see that I've got some mangrove drawers already, the 2x2 variants. We don't have a void upgrade currently. I'll probably make a few of those down the line, especially because I think we're also able to grow obsidian at this point in time too. And later, I am going to be automating it using purely technology, but for early on in the series, this is, well, the easiest way for me to automate things. And I'm going to intentionally restrict my usage of them in the future when I no longer have access, quote-unquote, to mystical agriculture. But for now, we need to make ourselves another hopper pot, which, if memory serves, is one of these, and one of these. Maybe switch the order. There we go. So we have a hopper pot, and now we can instantly make it into the upgraded tier with a couple of blocks of iron and an ender pearl. Click. We also already have some insanium farmland because we want this to go really quickly. Now let's hop on over to my infuser and we'll go ahead and turn these seeds into netherite seeds. So we are now here at the infusion altar. Let me go ahead and put in the materials real quick. And if memory serves, I'm pretty sure that the supremium go on the cardinals and the material that we want to make the seeds out of go on the intercards. I'm not entirely sure if that matters, like maybe if we rotated it, it would be okay, but as you can see, we've got the tooltip here proclaiming that we will get netherite seeds, and when I push this button, a cool little animation happens, and we get the netherite seeds. Now, you can do this with a whole bunch of materials. I'm not going to go over all of them because that's going to vary depending upon the mod pack you're in, but we now have our netherite seeds, and if we just go to one of these drawers that I built up earlier, we can put our pot on top, we can put in the insanium farmland and the netherite seeds, and slowly but surely we'll see the plant start to grow. You can see next to it we've got one for diamonds as well, because although we can get diamonds fairly easy in the mining dimension, I am going further and further out from my portal, and well, this just makes it easier for us to get diamonds right now. As I said, with most of these resources, I intend to do them automated in a different fashion when we get to a different point in the series, and we'll be relying on that as our supplies as opposed to mystical agriculture. But it's a really handy mod. It allows us to get a whole ton of resources that otherwise would be super time consuming. And let us just wait until this grows up, and then I can demonstrate what it's like to make some netherite ingots out of this essence. Now that we have 8 of the essences, we can take it to a crafting bench, drift right by the crafting bench because I'm still wearing roller skates, and we can get our netherite ingot, which means after a little bit more time, we'll have made back the 4 that we used to make the seeds in the first place, and then some. So, what are we going to do with our first ingot? Well, hopefully, and I'm not sure we can do this, but hopefully, sophisticated, and we need a gold to netherite upgrade, yes. Okay, so we need a gold to diamond upgrade, which means we need redstone torches, diamonds. We definitely can do diamonds. And then we just need to combine that with a netherite ingot, which we have. So let's go ahead and make ourselves some diamonds. Excuse me? Is that not how... Hold on. Ah, there we are. Diamond essence. Oh! Okay, it uses the full thing. Interesting. Which actually means I think I might need more. I mean, I think I've got natural diamonds, but, you know, synthetic are just as good. That was a diamond joke, yes. fill this in again, get a whole bunch of diamonds, and now we need a torch. And now we have our netherite tier upgrade. I'm going to sleep real quick, and then we're going to show you what we're going to use that for, because it should increase the throughput on my smelter now. So if I just put this here, yes, we've got the upgrade, we've got a massive amount of space, and most importantly, we also have some extra slots here. So I think what I'm going to do, not in this video because we're starting to get a little bit long, but what we can do is add 1 or 2 more of these advanced hopper upgrades, which will increase the throughput of this barrel into 64. So that means that rather than outputting 32 the first couple of times into the high throughput hopper that's here and then into the chute, we're just going to be able to deal in full stacks. And then, after that, we can fill the remaining upgrades with stack upgrades so that we can put even more stuff in this barrel. And basically, over time, I intend to keep going with those upgrades and upgrade all of the storage around the base because it is starting to get a little bit cluttered. Like, I'm sure you've noticed, but we've got all this stuff outside, and we've got all this stuff in here. And I think if we can just upgrade some of these to netherite level and maybe, I don't know, some other places around the base, then we can start taking away some of the ever-expanding chest monster. Anyway, that is going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified. And as always, I'm looking forward to your feedback in the comments below. And with that, I will catch you on the flip side. Thanks for watching, everybody. In the upper left is the next video in the series, or a video you might like. In the lower left is the series playlist, and on the right is my icon by which you can subscribe. Thanks again for watching!